Ladies and gentlemen, it is the day we have all been waiting for. Day number 10 of the National Finals Rodeo. And it's time to dissect what is going to be some of the most highly contested World Championship races, plus all the drama that has come along with it. Welcome back to the Cinch Jeans and Shirt stage, No Spin Rodeo Rally. Tommy Joe Lucia and Kendra Santos.
Good Saturday morning, everybody. The phlegm is starting to loosen up in a lot of ways all over this place, the phlegm. It's Saturday. Well, Kendra, we're vertical. We made another one. Tell us a little bit what's going on over across the street. When do you guys wrap up the Oats Junior NFR?
Today, the Oatberries Junior Steer Wrestling World Championship is 11 to 12 today, and we crown our champions. And
is it progressive?
to celebrate 40 years in Vegas, decided to do a 10-header for the first time for these kids. So rounds 9 and 10 are over there today.
So they did a 10-header.
Yes.
Now,
I mean, his whole thing is he loves kids and he loves steer wrestling. And so to get them ready for the building, which several of them have been ready enough to be over there right now.
Really?
It's very cool, yeah.
Branquino's kid's doing good, right?
You know what? Luke is here hazing for his son, Cade, and his nephew, Blake. And
it's Blake's his nephew.
It's great. It's really fun to see it. And, you know, those guys were out there yesterday. Tyler Pearson, Tyler Wagisback, those guys come out there and help those kids. It's a very cool situation.
Okay, well, we're going to start the show like we always do. We want to thank Pro Fantasy Rodeo, Casey Crazy Jones, for being a part of our show. We're going to do our Fantasy Pro Rodeo round recap. Excuse me. So, in the big game, this is the game that everybody starts before the first horse bucks out. It's a combination of winnings of the Cowboys that you picked all the way through the NFR. You win a pickup, beautiful pickup, a trailer last year. I think Casey gave the keys to his Tesla truck or something. But anyway, trace number 5, Casey Estrada still in the lead. That looks very similar to yesterday. 1,182,500. That's a lot.
I'd like to know who that person picked. It'd be fun.
A lot of really good people that I did not pick. Champ Rodeo, Tanya Chapman, 1,000,014. So there's only 40. So here's what you got to remember in Pro Fantasy Rodeo. This aggregate deal, if you think you're winning, wait till it's over, about 15 minutes after it's over, and things can change. God help me, please. And let's look at our daily winners. Now remember, that's what we're trying to get you guys to do. Go out there and play Pro Fantasy Daily. Play it on the last round. It's $5 off if you have the big game. Hairpin. Ooh, I like that. Hairpin. Hairpin won it $200,000 on their team. That's kind of a low team earnings because there was a lot of shakeups last night. $3,500 they won. Thank you to Pro Fantasy Rodeo. Get out there and play the daily game. You're not out. If you didn't start at the beginning, you can play the daily game. And we'll look at, so yesterday I got out front and I danced a little bit because I thought that the fact that I was going to get ink was gone. And in the course of one night, I am now sitting solely in 22nd, which means I lose the Celebrity Tattoo League, which means that whoever is in first, currently John Harrison, decides where to put a tattoo on my body. Kendra had it. And she had a fantastic round in fantasy. So Kendra's back up to 17th. $133,000 your team won yesterday. That's really good. I'm in 22nd. And Zeke, again, this sounds terribly selfish, and you'll scold me again. But, you know, Zeke's buck off, which imagine what it did to Zeke's world. But Zeke's buck off definitely didn't help my chances that I'm not going to get ink. And so there we are. That's the Pro Fantasy recap. I'm going to let you dive into the arena because we got it's fun one of the most fun things to do is to talk about this aggregate race and stuff. And we're not going to have a guest today. We're just going to kind of swim through that, talk about a handful of things. But you want to catch us up on the winners last night and the big surprises?
Yeah, I thought for me today, I'm looking at round 9. I'm looking at the world standings. I'm looking at the average leaders. You say aggregate, I say average. I'm old school, and I'd like to look at the what ifs. So those are kind of the 4 things that I'm hopscotching around. Before we roll into that, though, last night was Legacy Night at the finals, and the Casey Tibbs Legacy Award was presented in the arena. And Phil Line is this year's Legacy winner. And how many years ago was 1971? What happened in 1971?
It was a couple of years after I was born.
Well, 1971, Phil won the NFR in the bull riding and the calf roping. And at the same NFR, Ace Berry won the bareback riding and the team roping. So two guys at two different ends of the arena in the same year. That was an epic thing. That was one of the greatest feats in cowboy history for me. So that was very cool to see.
And the calves were bigger and meaner and faster, and the bulls
and
sun-fished and slapped you in the face and all of those things. And
Phil Line is no bigger than Tucker Allen, if he's not smaller. He's a small man, and the calves were monsters.
It was tougher rodeo back then, no doubt about it. It was tougher rodeo.
Okay, round 9, Cooper Cook, sicker than a dog, won the round last night. And he has Nightcrawler tonight in round 10 and says that he's been waiting 5 years for Nightcrawler. Last night he won the round at Butler & Sons No Whiskey's Redlicious Meats.
Got to get that sponsor dollar. Cram them all
that's
in
a mouthful. Anyway, he was clearly so sick last night, but he rose and he was like...
Clearly, because you probably saw him in the media room and stuff.
Well, poor guy.
He didn't look...
But anyway, he
rode like he felt okay.
Pressure makes diamonds, and we're here to make diamonds, is what he was saying. And he was, trying to rise
Not
out
anymore.
of bed.
You can make diamonds in like 7 months now and pay a third for them. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's all good.
That's random.
In the steer wrestling, Justin Schaefer, Banker won another round. Justin Schaefer was 3-6, and what he was saying about that horse last night, the horse of the year, of course, is we can't get our feet on the ground fast enough without him. But Banker, between his boys, Schaefer, Tucker, and Jesse, has won $355,576. One little bay horse that used to be a hazing horse.
What's the percentage if you own the horse? Is that a standard? Is that negotiated?
There are standards, but those guys in the same truck, they all work out their own, situation. Because, for example, usually there is standard for the horse, for the hazer. Sometimes the hazing horse comes into play, but those guys have their own deal clearly because Tucker is over there hazing. They're hazing for each other. So they have their own mix.
But do you think if you've got that good a horse, I think I would up the deal, right? It's an advantage to get on that horse.
Justin Schaefer and Tucker Allen are brothers. So
brothers from another mother?
That's the bond they have, and so they are family. They treat each other like family. They have their own situation.
I'm just saying like the business side of it, right? Not putting aside relationships, and we've been down the road together. One would think that those kind of horses would command more of a commission than a couple of the horses that we've seen on the bottom of the pin. What'd you say?
Standard. An eighth and an eighth. For the horse and the hazer, standard. But I bet
But don't you think that should be a little more if your horse is better than everybody else's?
There's always
maybe. I don't know. All right, here we go. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay, Lightning Aguilera and Caden Profili strike again. 3-4 last night, and Lightning got off of Zeus, which is the big gray that he usually rides. A leg placed in the round last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Interesting. That's when you wrote, down the list can be kind of an advantage.
The team roping is always a dumpster fire in a nice way. Like you really can't hardly predict that game.
Well, clearly I didn't.
Clearly I didn't either. But clearly, allegedly,
Lightning and Caden, they're another one of those teams that their partners did not make it. Lightning roped with Wyatt Cox this year, and Wyatt barely missed the books here, and Caden was roping with Brenton Hall, who also just missed the cut. So those guys got thrown in together. They've already won 3 rounds.
Do you think the other guy sitting at home's going, what about next year?
No, because I've talked to them, and like Lightning can't wait to rope with Wyatt again.
Okay.
For an example. So, okay, the bronc riding last night. Right night at the NFR. Okay, Stetson was first, Statler was second, Ryder was third. Sweep, cool for them.
Cool for the
family.
rides. Stetson looked like his earlier contusions weren't affecting his ability with his feet, which we saw in the bull riding too. So he looks. I was concerned on his first one back, right? But he looks sound mentally and physically. And
he
that's
is
a big
so
deal.
mentally sound. And he talked about last night after, like, the roller coaster, including just how beat up his body's been here. But I like to quote him. He said, but like Kai said, don't be a Pussy. And so that's how those guys think. And also the mindset of this wolf pack mentality that the Wrights have. You know, Stetson said, when you hang out with 4 champs, you're bound to be the 5th. And he's talking about Ryder, Rusty, Statler, and his dad, Cody, I'm sure. You know, so those guys are cool.
Statler's shown some composure. They're amazing. You know, they just really are. There's no way around it. It's super cool. It's amazing. Everybody, it's unbelievable. And Statler's composure and the way he's riding, it's everybody's saying it. I mean, we're just saying the same thing, but it's obvious. It's obvious, but it is impressive.
He has definitely arrived. Last night was the night that Haven Medjid, who owns the fast time record and the average record here at the Thomas & Mack, kind of got into the right end of the hat, or whatever you want to say. But really nice to see him take.
I'm glad
he was
got
7
a check.
flat, took his first
I'm
victory lap of the week.
Yep, very glad.
For those who don't remember, or Haven missed the meat of this season, having to sit out with a back injury, and he missed the 4th of July run, the NFR Open, Calgary. I mean, some big ticket
stuff, yeah.
places, and like he was saying, it was a grind to get here. So it's I mean, that guy's so talented. It's nice to see that come together for him last night, and to get one that didn't kick him or whatever. So he's also hanging in there in the average.
He has not drawn good.
He really hasn't.
He really hasn't, in fairness to him.
He really hasn't. Okay, Carly Otero was 13:20, the fastest time so far to win another round of the barrel race.
Amazing.
That was her
And the ground, we talked about the ground yesterday.
Yeah.
It sure looked like it was better.
Was her
obviously.
third round win. And I'm going to dig about this, but there's something about that horse. Like, I think that horse came from Australia. I got an interesting message this morning that said that horse was a junior champion in Australia. So I didn't have time to look all the way down, but I will.
Hopefully he's got his papers the way that you never know.
Okay, Quinn Anderson, 87 points to win the round in the bull riding. Good for him. He's the kid, and it was on Mr. Gold of Sutton Rodeos, who's the son of Spotted Demon, for us older people who remember that. That bull was 2018 Bull of the Year and Bull of the NFR, I think. That's right. Yeah. Quinn is the poor bloke who lost the rookie bet by bucking off in the first round at his first NFR and had to shave his head.
That's why he looks like a Q-tip.
So, anyway.
Well, I'll say this about the bull riders. As a whole, not all of them, as a whole, everybody's still coming riding. They're not looking off. They're trying them as a whole. There's a handful, but as a whole. So that is refreshing to me. I mean, these guys got bucked off, right? They just got bucked off, and it's tough. And tonight we'll tell a big story there.
There are so many stories, and it's fun to step back. It appears that Stetson Wright is going to be our world champion all-around cowboy after an injury timeout. where like he had put it,
Missed call.
he was starving to death, but he's already at $736,359. Good for him.
I don't think they can't beat him really.
I think
No way.
I don't know if I should go through this separately. I think we should hit on the world standings leader in every event. Rocker Steiner is at the lead. Let's just go world standings and who's leading the average. So Rocker is winning the world. Jess Pope, the 3-time NFR average winner, is winning the average.
Yeah, but essentially...
Do you want to go to the what if while we're at it and just go tic-tac-toe?
You go with your what if, and then I'll give you the Tommy Joe 35 cents. You go with your...
Okay, so the what if we paid the average off today and didn't have round 10, Rocker would basically edge Jess, not by a lot, but 30 or 40 grand.
In the
world champion for the world, yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, the what if they paid it off, because Rocker's splitting 5th and 6th in the average now. Jess is winning the average. And if they paid it off like it was over right now.
Well, that'd be 100 for Jess, right?
No, Rocker, if it ended right now, Rocker would have 474,117, including 5th and 6th in the average. And Jess would have 437,185, including 1st in the average, which is 94,000. I'm positive.
Okay.
So you want to go event by event with that, or you want to say something about that?
I want to go however you want to go. I'm not in a fight mood. I'm good. I think we do bareback ride. And here's the deal. It's pretty simple in all of the nuts and bolts of all of these. You've got to perform tonight. This has turned into a one-header in a lot of cases. Even though it's not, I understand it took all that to get here, but it matters tonight what you do. Okay, so we had a no spinner while we're on bareback riding. We had a no spinner reach out, so this is the only reason we're going to bring this back up. We had a no spinner reach out that said, "Can you guys look into Rocker Steiner's ride on round 7? I swear to God," this no spinner said, round 8. He said round 8. I swear to God that we think from home that in Nebraska that Rocker slapped him, or double grabbed or something. So I don't remember that far back, but we'll take a look at a video that we clipped so that all you no spinners out there can watch. Here he is coming around the wall. There's one hand down. There's another. And that's it. So let's back it up. It looks like he gets close a couple times. Now, let me say something on this. For one, those camera angles are not great, but it looks from this angle like Rocker touched himself. You cannot touch yourself. You cannot touch anything with the free hand, okay? So now, here's the interesting thing, because everybody's been up in it about replay. Those replay guys up there can see stuff, but unless the field judges throw a flag, so what would have had to have happened is they would have had to said that in the field that Rocker slapped himself, and then they're automatically reviewing when that's said from 7.5 seconds to 8. Well, that wasn't an automatic review because it wasn't contested in the field. And again, there's a lot of things that go into this. I'm not going to open up any can of worms, but that was probably the worst spot, right? He's against the wall in the middle down there, probably the furthest from all of the judges, right? In a very fast-paced thing. And of course, had he got a no score there, it would have changed everything. And it doesn't really matter. So I'm not, you can take a look at it and decide yourself. There's been a lot of close things that have happened that have been contested, but it could have happened and it may not have. I don't know.
We all agree that having the review is progress. And I think that, it is new and there will be growing pains with all of it. But ultimately, everybody, most especially the PRCA, wants the right person to win. And it really has the judges' backs, right? Because people can watch it in slow motion from different angles. And as we get there and have, all the ultimate angles, hopefully we can get to the point where we are like the NFL, where they show the angle that is conclusive, just like a baseball player's foot on the bag.
I think the problem here is you can't step halfway into the mud puddle. okay? I know that the PRCA is very strategic, and I can understand their point about easing this stuff in. But you either do it or you don't, in my opinion, right? You either embrace it and you figure out how to do it correctly, or you don't. And I'll give you an example. I understand the production of the NFR is critical. But this whole thing that the replay judges have to make a decision before the next guy nods, like, do you want it right? Like, do you trust your technology, and do you want it right? And if you do, you wait for the replay officials to look at all their camera angles and make a decision. And if it's inconclusive from everything they have, whether it's one camera or 73, you leave it alone. That part's easy. If you can't definitively say, we can show you, everybody, that that this happened, we didn't see any, see everybody, here's what happened with Wright. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything that said, hey, here was our video evidence of this. And so I'm an advocate for it, but I think do it. Like, do it, take it seriously, figure it out. Don't buck the next guy till you make a decision. That's good drama. By the way, to me, that's good production. Those of us fans want to look at that. We're dying to find out what they're seeing.
You're a production guy. I have a question because I feel like the expense of having all the different angles, I would be curious because, for example, I feel like at Houston, we see every angle. We see it from above. We see it from every side. We see it from below. We see it everywhere. Is that just so expensive technologically?
They also know what they're doing because they do it for the football team there. So like all of the routing and all of the stuff is in place. You know, that's what they do most of the time is football and other sports. So everything, like they know how to do it and they have it all routed and everything. And they don't do it one time a year.
Is there a Randy Spraggins of Rodeo Replay that they could bring in?
Well, I'm sure there's people that handle the NFL replay. You got to embrace it. And I think it's one of those deals where in our culture, we want to slowly taste the steak before we buy it, right? And it's just easing everybody in. And I get that. I get those protocols. I just think you get yourself in a bind when you're saying we're going to use replay as long as you make a decision before the next guy bucks his head. We're going to use replay as long as the field judge throws a flag, right? You know, wouldn't it be great if they're looking at it up there, they call down and say, the replay official said he slapped him. I'm just, again, but neither here nor there. Okay. We're living in the world we're living in. It is definitely progress, so don't get mad at me, everybody in the PRCA headquarters. We are making progress, and I love that. But there's so much further we can go. The right guy's got to win. That's all I'm saying.
That's all any of us wants.
Yeah.
Including the judges.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
So in the steer wrestling, our regular season leader, Will Loomis, is still in the lead in the world standings with 312.951. But leading the average is this little fella from California, Tucker Allen. And he's got all day long. Like, if he catches one before the buck and shoots, he's 40.6 on 9. And next in line is Rowdy Parrott, was 53 flat. So how many guys haven't missed? How many guys are clean on 9? We have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because what I'm trying to figure
out, 4 guys.
If Tucker were to not get his steer tonight, I think he still has a good shot.
What you're saying is it possible he'll have it one before he runs one?
It's awful close.
It is possible.
Yeah.
So here, everybody looking at the world standings and saying, oh, well, Will's still in the lead. But that does not tell the tale with that 94 grand up for grabs. And Tucker was such a commanding lead. In fact, if it was paid off after 9 rounds, Tucker would be the champ with almost $400,000, and Will would finish second with $313.
So that kind of that's $100,000, right? That kind of tells the story. Because none of them other guys in the aggregate or average, even if they win it, Tucker gets kicked out. They're not close enough that they're going to threaten the top 2 holes anyway.
Tucker's in a great spot.
I feel terrible for Will, but it's awful cool to see Tucker come in.
Did they say he's been the reserve world champ 3 times before this year?
I think, he's been the bridesmaid a lot.
Which as far as I know, in the history of our sport, the one who won second the most was Barry Burke in the calf roping, I believe. And it was a lot, I believe. Anyway, okay, so world standings. This is so interesting. These guys came in the 14th position, Colton Schmidt and Jonathan Torres. They're now, they're like winning everything. So, so they're winning the world. They're first in the average. The what if they paid it off after 9 rounds, they would win it. I'm curious about second is Andrew Ward and Jake Long. If they paid the average out right now, because Jake and Andrew are second in the average right now. So everybody thinks they've got it all figured out before tonight.
But the top of the average is on missing one, right? They're because they missed it. They missed in the first round, and isn't that right? I think so. I think they.
Yeah, first in the average is 33 flat on 8 steers.
On 8, yeah.
So not one team has gone 9 for 9. So yes, that is a fact.
Heartbreaking when Jay. Yeah, that was a bad. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
But like I said, the team open's always a dumpster fire in a nice way. Like, who knows? I mean, when they start gunning for it, right? And it just, who knows? It's good watching.
Okay. So the world standings.
Are you going to tie down?
Did I put him backwards in here? No, saddle bronc riding.
You're going to saddle bronc. Okay, I just want to get my stuff up.
Yeah, it's all good.
Technical.
So in the world standings, Ryder Wright is still in the lead. He's got just short of 414,000. So then Damian Brennan, but third is Statler Wright, and Statler's winning the average.
And Ryder's sitting 8th.
So if they paid it off right now on the what ifs and didn't go tonight and paid off the average as it stands, Statler would be your world champ.
Okay, everybody get your pins out in your little note card because you're going to want this tonight when you're watching the NFR. Here's how the average pays out. 94 grand if they win the average. 76,000 for second. $60,000 for third. 44 for fourth, 31 for fifth, 23 for sixth, 16 for seventh, and 9 for eighth. They're not really round numbers, okay, but that gets you close. So you can add that to the totals after tonight's round win, or wherever they place in the round. If they make money in the round, you add that, then you add this on top of it, and that's how you crown your world champion. So that's why this is such a big deal. You got to look and see, you got a guy currently, Ryder, sitting up there at the top with $413,000, but he's sitting 8th. He's sitting 8th right now in the aggregate, which would pay 9 grand. So if he won tonight's round and stayed where he's at in the aggregate, then that's 45 grand on top of 413. I'm just, in case you people are wanting to play this game at home, that puts him at 460 or whatever. But so that's why we're doing all of this. So write those numbers down because they mean a lot in pro fantasy and in these guys' lives and in who gets a gold buckle.
So in the tie down, Riley Webb and Shad Mayfield aren't that different in the world standings. They're first and second. But again, Riley's first in the average and Shad's 8th. And they pay 8 monies, but 8th compared to first is a different galaxy.
Now, if Riley, highly unlikely, were to miss his calf, can you give me that what if?
Well, Riley already has a calf on Shad. Okay, so Riley's on 9, and Shad's average right now. Shad had that one. Get up
or untie or whatever you want to call it.
So Riley right now is at 439,626. The annual earnings record in that event is 475,214. So he's going to break his own annual earnings, which is really cool because we all want every money record broken every year. So that's a very cool thing.
Riley be Riley, and he gets a gold buckle.
Yes. Riley be Riley and Rudy be Rudy, and they get one together. Okay.
Does a horse get a buckle?
Rudy already got a bronze for being the horse of the year.
They should do a breastplate buckle. They should.
Wouldn't
that be cool?
Kind of a cool idea.
It is a cool idea.
It's fun to see. You know what's a really cool idea? Let's have a hazing horse of the year.
True.
Okay. We've added pickup horse of the year the last 3 years. Let's
Who
add
decides that?
Hazing horse of the year.
Who decides that?
The guys
entire membership?
The top 25 decide it.
Okay.
Roll your eyes at me. Okay. Cassie Mowry is leading the world. She's also leading the average. And she, of course, has ridden 2 horses, Will, her big gray Will, and that little sorrel horse, Cornbread. So
Cornbread was coming out of the pan in the alley last night. What a cowgirl. Like,
she is.
What a cowgirl. Because that was borderline wreck all the way. And I was worried about her getting around the corner, too. And she rode in there with such composure. Like, hats off. I mean, I'd have lost my cookies.
And
the what if, my little bitty bat.
The what if is a fun
Listen
one
here, Cornbread.
In the barrel race.
I'm just doing some sidelight commentary while you're going through all the numbers. It's my ADHD.
The fact that Cassie Mowry is in a position to win the world when she left her 2024 Horse of the Year Jarvis at home is pretty epic. But on the what ifs, if it ended now, the reserve world champion would be Trisha Aldridge on Adios Pantalones, the winningest barrel racing stallion of all time. And she said last night that she has been offered over $10 million for that horse and didn't even consider it.
Not even considering it?
Listen, this is what she said. I can't spend that money in prison, and the first time I see somebody jerk on him in the warm-up pen, I'm going to be in prison.
Well, just take your $10 million, go buy you a place in Hawaii. You'll never see him get jerked on. And all of a sudden...
She's not going to sell her best friend.
Okay.
You know what?
I've got some best friends.
You know what's
$10 million?
What's fun is she couldn't do it here, but when you know, listening to her when she wears the helmet cam thing or the head cam, whatever that's called, the way she talks to him throughout a whole run is very sweet.
I mean, there's obviously a relationship there. The fact that she brought a 5-year-old stud here when there was a threat of the big herp was amazing to me. So, you know, drum your drum however you want. $10 million, a lot of money. I'm glad. I think that's cool, right? But that's
well, I would also think
change.
They would be tall competition in the best dressed award, which is actually a pretty big deal here because Trisha,
you mean her and Tank as a combo.
And her guy Tank in the back there and Adios, they all have complete hair and makeup and wardrobe every single day.
That's a beautiful horse. I've said it from number one. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And running good. You know, a 5-year-old stud, think about that. Stud, we all know characteristics of studs. A 5-year-old inside a building where the fans are literally on your back and there's LEDs in the fence. Hello. I mean, evidently a calm, it's like a teenager, it's like a mature teenager, right? That's just sharp, or 21-year-old or whatever.
Right.
Probably a 20, I could see him being a 21-year-old, yeah.
Like she has said this week, he feels like a 15-year-old rodeo horse in a 5-year-old's body. So his mind, but I say if everyone was treated with the kindness and positivity and love as that horse, this world would be a better place.
I feel opposite. I feel like a 56-year-old in a 78-year-old body. Go ahead.
Let's roll into the bull riding, because then that would probably lead us well into the Justin Sports Medicine Report.
Big deal.
Stetson Wright is leading the world. If it was over today, he would be the winner with almost $575,000. Splitting the average right now, the overhanded TJ Gray and Kai Hamilton, with both on having ridden 6 out of 9 bulls, which is kind of interesting. So
and Stetson's got $1 off under them, right?
Yeah. Stetson's ridden 5. Those guys have ridden 6. So, you want me to just dive into the Justin Sports Medicine?
Well, we need to, because if you didn't see it last night, Kai Hamilton. Now, let me preface this. He's Australian. Garrett and I talked about that. If you know very many Australians, their threshold for pain is stupid.
Troy Dunn.
I mean, it's a characteristic of those people from that rocky little island in the middle of nowhere. Very tough, very, very tough. And when they carried him out, and it was weird, it looks like he got bucked off, and it looked like his leg hung, but it looked like a knee. Again, I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to give you some outside. It looked like a knee, and he put zero anything on it all the way up the tunnel. So what do you got? What are they telling us? They're not on time with the sports medicine reports anyway. Get it? Come on, guys.
Justin Sports Medicine Group, which I so appreciate them, they're saying right knee sprain, further evaluation tomorrow, as in today, and that he's questionable for his status. However, everybody remembers a couple years ago, right, when he got knocked out like a helicopter in the air, and it was so ugly. And then he spent the night in the hospital, and then that was when they had the UNLV campus shooting, and he got released in time. So we had the first ever like morning perf. Remember that? And,
yep.
And he came back and he won the round the next day. But like,
yeah, but so let's think about this. If you're a bull rider, if your head hurts a little bit, it's one thing. But if you can't use your legs, right? If your knees aren't working and you can't hold with your feet, it doesn't matter how tough he is. That's the concern, right? Is if he can't sit there and ride. Now it depends on his draw, right? If the bull goes into the weak knee, and I mean, there's all these things that are interesting, but that's way much more of a handicap, right? A groin or a knee, where you got to use your feet to ride. And Kai rides tough. Like if you look at Stetson, in my opinion, rides agile. He's all over him, right? He's keeping his body. Kai is a little more like the Troy Dunn type. He's fast, he's quick and athletic, but he's strong. And I'm just saying, if that knee weakens that hold, that's a problem for him.
Yeah. When he's telling Stetson not to be a P word, I would be shocked if he doesn't go. But you know, it will be his call. And knowing Kai, I guess I'll be surprised.
I bet he goes.
I bet he goes too.
But can he ride him?
So we know that Raleigh Johnson, who had the concussion, is out. J.R. Stratford, they were trying to explain this to me last night. So he didn't ride in round 9 last night, but there was some technicality about it being an extension of his doctor's release from round 7 and 8. So J.R.'s understanding was not that it was automatic that he had to miss round 10, but it was a matter of his head swelling. He does still have one eye swelled shut. Whether he goes
tonight. Does he want to get on in 10 or what?
He's been totally wanting to get on. He wanted to get on yesterday, but usually you have to let the secretary know by 11 a.m. And these guys have been taking a little bit more time during the day to
can the sports medicine tell him he can't get on?
My understanding that dates back to the Kai Hamilton injury a couple years ago was that SportsMed can strongly advise them.
Which means no.
But ultimately, I don't know if you got all the way down to the legalities, if this would be considered a right to work situation. Ultimately, my understanding in 2025 is that it ultimately is the Cowboys' decision.
Yeah, well, it should ultimately be a doctor's decision, in my opinion. Because Cowboys aren't thinking, you got to think that.
What's tricky
I'm just
about
concerned
that,
about the rest of people's lives, right? That's all I'm saying.
And I understand that. And there have been times, Kai Hamilton's mom did not want him to come back and get on the morning after he got KO'd. And she didn't want him to. And then remember the scene in the middle of the night, I got a picture, and it was Kai, Stetson Wright, JB Mooney, and they were all there just all night and, just talking through it or whatever. And they made the decision. But how would you like to be the doctor who made the decision?
What, to not let him ride?
Well, a doctor, I mean, if there's someone who I suppose would be most equipped, would be a Tandy Freeman, who knows what it is they're doing and knows whether it's a matter of playing with pain or risking your future.
Yeah, you have to have a trained team that understands what's going on. And
because most doctors have told so many of these guys, your career's over. They told Stetson his career was over with the hamstring. True. So they have to know what it is you're going to do, but I believe the Cowboy makes the final call.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you just want you pray that people are smart because you don't want to see anything devastating happen to anybody, right? For a round win or proving you're not a spell it out again. I'm not doing it, but whatever. Hey, if you like it, do it. Of course, Kai, I hope he, again, it'll be challenging for him with the type of injury it looked like. We don't know what it is because they haven't told us, I guess. I mean, it was a knee sprain, but we don't have an update this morning. And knees don't usually get better with a lot of ice. If he pulled something, the ice doesn't unpull it.
Stetson Jorgensen is going here with a MCL that's in the first round got torn in half. So you could see last night he was really hurting. Like he can't pretend as he's walking away anymore. But
yeah, it's painful.
Yeah.
So let's look back at the NFR. Let's get it light first. What's the funniest moment? The funniest thing you can remember happened to you at the NFR so far? Think about it. You're thinking about it.
Well, I thought it was pretty funny when Oates' comment on the stage the other day calling me a biggin. But
yeah,
anyway,
he did say that
he's right.
The wrestlers like biggins.
5'10".
This is probably inappropriate, but highly normal for me. So I had to walk down from this end of the trade show all the way to the other. And I'm just going to do a public service announcement for all of you people in the trade show. You should really consider not igniting your burrito from last night while there's 600 people walking behind you because there's nowhere to go. Like there's nowhere to go in there.
Are you talking about crop dusting?
Yes, it's the worst. And it happened to me 3 times. Right? And it didn't just happen to me. It happened to everybody around me. And then you've got the proper lady who's walking. She's thinking the same thing I'm thinking, except I'm going, God, what? Who? What? There's 9,000 people around you. Listen, go to the side aisle. I mean, come on. It's just not right. You got to spend too much money there
The proper lady
anyway.
probably has the walking farts. She's just acting prim and putting on a show.
But she was beside me. Unless she had a swirler. But anyway, I just think that's wrong. It's just wrong. I'm telling you, if I realize that burrito's fixing to explode, I'm getting out of there. I'm just the right thing to do. Do the right thing, gassy people. All right. So we got 15 minutes to fill here. We went through everything. Thank God. Praise the Lord. It doesn't look like the herp affected us as far as I know. And we were all praying for that. So thank the good Lord above for not only the horse's health, but being able to do this event like we expected. I'll be so glad when the grand entry comes back because I'm so over. I would have loved to have seen them highlight. Again, this is just a production guy being critical. But wouldn't it be cool today instead of marching them? Because you can tell they're highly bored. You can tell that the people that are seeing it are highly bored. Wouldn't it be cool if you started looking at aggregate leaders and featuring the stories and stuff like that, which you can do at the top of the show for the first time ever and not march everybody out there. But then again, whatever.
What's been interesting to me is I think it's fun. Like we all love watching the grand entry, and it's been fun seeing I think it's the Canadians, the bronc riders leading the charge over there on the left side, and they're like running and not staying in line and stuff, but they're not getting them on the fines list, which is good because it's fun for us to watch, right?
I think I would go to the flag girl at the top and go, if anybody beats you, you're fired. And then see what goes down. And then I would spill that to the Cowboys and just see. It's cool. We can see everybody. We got the tip of the resistals paid for, deliverable. So yeah, I'll be glad to see the grand entry. And the grand entry, what I like about the grand entry is you get state pride in there. You get buck-offs in there. You get all that stuff that we miss. You don't see any buck-offs in this. But back to the point. Thank God, praise the Lord, honestly, thank you, God, that we've had an uneventful herp situation.
That it's been able to go. And one of my favorite parts of the grand entry, the way, for whatever reason, I think it goes back to Cotton Rosser for some reason, but California is always second to last when they're on the horses. And then here comes the host state of Nevada. And I miss seeing, I would watch for when they after the heartfelt tip of the resistol, the two guys would race out first were Jade Corkle and Cody Snow, and it was so fun to watch.
You know, we're gonna get the fine list next, but here's the deal. I love that there's several things I love that make me chuckle. Probably you do too if you watch the arena feed. The, fan cam. We said it, the guy's asleep in his nachos, right? Don't pick him, right? Don't pick that fan that literally, did you guys see the guy that was at the top that was literally picking his nose for a good 35 seconds and they didn't pull the shot? And then he went full on. Like,
that was bad.
I'm getting it right now. And they just held tight. We're going to watch this happen. But the other thing is, if you're going to say heartfelt tip of the resistol, make sure you got a camera shot of someone that looks like it's a heartfelt tip of the resistol, right? Instead of the whole, you know what I'm saying? So it's just those little things like that made me chuckle. Fine list. We have been covering the fine list because it looks like it's a hot topic. So we're going to throw it up there. Here's the final fine list siren that you'll hear of 2025. For round number 9. Jayco Roper, patch infraction, second time, $2,000. So what that means is that the PRCA approves the patches that these guys can put on. And there's a process to going through that. And some are not approved with, if a PRCA sponsor has exclusivities, and I don't know, you can't control these guys' bodies, but they have a process for that.
I have a question. Are they fining him for an illegal patch, or are they fining him for not wearing the PRCA sticker on the button?
What I got out of it's a patch infraction.
You know what? Garrett might be right, because in previous days they named, if it was an illegal patch, they named it. Remember, they named that by name. So that's possible.
So that's very possible.
Jayco last night, in wrecked groin pain, split 6th, $2,000 fine if it stands is a lot. He's won $12,957 here. So a $2,000
total?
Yes.
So a 1/6 of his money. Yeah. Tucker Allen, not ready. 46 seconds, $250. I think if I was Tucker, given the situation I'm in, I would make sure I was absolutely ready.
Tucker and Jesse Brown, Banker just needed a moment. Or the Hazel horse needed a moment. Yeah. And those guys.
46 seconds, 47 seconds. I don't exactly know when the clock starts. I don't know if it's when they ride in. But
you know what? Horses can feel the pucker factor is coming for us. In rounds 9 and 10, it happens every year, and a horse can tell. If Tucker's not a little bit tight right now, then he's not human, right? And those horses can feel that. But they're making sure Banker scores great, but they're just making sure, and especially with 3 guys on him. He's in for 30 runs here this week, and he's been a saint.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I would do. That's just a businessman's decision whether they did it on purpose or not. Garrett Shadbolt, not ready, meaning probably he didn't have his hand in, right? When they told him, which we talked about this earlier, that could be a horse situation. There's times when you literally don't run your hand in because as soon as you do, you've got about 25 seconds to get out on him or he's going to start smashing you. So there's a lot that goes into this. Remember, everybody, when we talk about the fine list, all of these cowboys can contest it. They can contest it. It will be reviewed by an independent review committee consisting of the same committee that gave them the fine. Independent review committee, and they may not have to pay the fine. So there's a lot of those that may not actually happen, And so, but, the fine, I think it's important. If you're going to make a rule, enforce it. And $250, I mean, like you said, for Jayco, that's a big deal. That's a lot for a guy that's not winning very much. Okay, most memorable moment in the arena for you. I love it when I get it. So for me, it was Zeke getting bucked off. How many times? He was like 62 head of not being thrown off. And it's bound to happen.
55, which means it would have had to been started. That streak must have started like at the halfway mark at in Arlington in 2020, I think.
Oh,
They
that
said
would
it
make
was
sense.
55 straight scores here at the NFR coming into last night.
He's just not one to not be ready, not be mentally prepared. And it looked like maybe he just had I got this night, and then all of a sudden I don't got this. And Zeke is my hero. I think Zeke's as cool gets, right? And another memorable thing for me, I know I understand that everybody thinks that they can get their plow and go out there and fix the ground. See that over and over and again. Hats off to the team with barrel racers and ground people. Understand, these are all collectively working on this. The ground looked different last night. It just did. Now, I'm not a barrel racer, but it it looked like, so let's see, because remember there was a round earlier where it looked good, and then the next round was a complete disaster. So tonight I'll tell the story. Hopefully they got it fixed, and that those girls can hit those barrels like they want to, when they want to. And then if you notice, these are big, powerful. These horses are powerful. Just take a look at how hard they're pushing off, right? Like, I'm surprised that there's any ground left, honestly, Oof.
My big dream, I love the fact that, for cowboys to make more money and cowgirls too is always like my ultimate, like that's like, I feel like my life's work. That's the most important thing to me. And my big dream for this NFR was for Stetson Wright to hit $1 million in 1 year. And I'm certain with sponsorships, that's a done deal, but
He'll be awful
cool.
close, right?
I would think so. And that's I think that's the coolest thing for me, to see a cowboy make $1 million in a year.
Well, one of the best things that'll happen for everybody is if Stetson wins the all around, even though they had a bad call on Stetson. And had that taken him out of that bad call would have lingered on and on and on and on and on.
We'll never know if a Triple Crown was absolutely on the table at the time. So, we're never going to know these kind of things.
Right. But if he wins the all around, right, it kind of, you're right. It took the trip. Agreed.
He has an absolute great chance to win 2 gold buckles, and it may well, if you go back. But we'll never know, and so we can't really go backwards.
It doesn't really matter.
Right. Well, it matters a lot, but...
Well, there ain't nothing you're going to do about it.
There's nothing anyone's going to do about it now. Right.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but it don't matter. So those are big memories. I don't know. Any other... the World Series let's do a World Series recap real quick. We haven't done that yet. We're very casual. This is Casual Saturday. Casual Saturday on No Spin Rodeo, where you can wear your slippers and your bathrobe. And by the way, last night I'm going into the hotel. Someone left their slippers out by the front door. Who does that? I mean,
the crop dusters.
The crop dusters do. They blew their slippers right off. Okay. Here we go. The 9.5 Ariat World Series finale was yesterday. The roping paid out over $2.6 million. Second high callback team of Garrett Lefebvre. That's French or something. I'm going to kill that. And Clancy Wilkerson from Arizona won it. They took home $407,000 as a team.
Can I say?
Of course. You can.
Clancy Wilkerson, our very good friend Byron Wilkerson, who was a world-class healer, died in 2017. Clancy's his kid.
Really?
Yes.
Good work.
That is
good work.
That is so awesome. And to think of Byron smiling on that one, that's very cool.
Well, and interestingly enough, 70 teams came back to the short go. All 70 teams got paid. And the first 7 teams took over $100,000 home. They also had a 9.5 custom Laredo custom haulers one. High stakes roping where fees were $10,000 a team. $10K a team. You got to have some big ones to do that. And let's see here, $160,000. High card gets to pick between a brand new Laredo conversion pickup for $160,000 or $100,000 cash. Keith, let's see here. I'm trying to Lewis Perry and Keith Harrington of Florida. Keith the header was a high card and picked the truck, so he picked the truck. So Lewis got the $100,000 cash. Big day of roping. They paid out almost $3 million. Hats off to the South Point. For most of us, our home away from home. Still great food, still great staff. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Mr. Gone. If you want to experience the right kind of treatment, go to the South Point.
Central.
Yeah.
And, on that note, Michael Gaughan's mentor, Benny Binion, there's the big statue of him right at the bottom of the escalators where all the Brown halters are on the wall. But this year's NFR icons included Benny Binion, Sean Davis, and Dan Mortensen. So, that's a tie full circle for Michael Gaughan.
And thanks to Pro Fantasy Rodeo. Did you see out there that there's some stuff going around that there was a lawsuit for AI submitted? Saw some stuff buzzing around. Did that ever buzz around your?
I've heard some rumblings. I don't know anything about it, but I'm assuming it's from the little snippets I've seen on the screen, like in the press room. Are they're doing like a tracker of the barrel racing?
It all over. Yeah, they're showing it on every one of the shows.
I haven't watched the telecast, but sometimes I get a snippet in the press room where they're tracking barrel racers, and it's that rainbow colored. They're trying to track the tracks of, say, Adios Pantalones versus Will or Cornbread, like what it looks like.
Yeah, so Stephen Jester. Looks like that was
Jester.
Yeah, and I think that guy's been in the PBR ranks.
He's a production manager for the Velocity Tour.
Interesting.
Very smart guy. He helped create, they call it Sky Start. It's the AI technology that the PBR uses now to start the 8-second clock.
So he's evidently challenging that some kind of a trademark and infringement on what that Teton Ridge is using. And I think he named everybody, which is typical, to name everybody in the lawsuit. But I bet the biggest attorneys are probably on Teton Ridge's payroll. So we'll see. We'll see if this is real or a money grab. And I don't mean that bad, but sometimes you'll put a lawsuit out there and they'll give you $20,000 to go away, right? Or if this is real and where it goes. But definitely something, it seems like it's pretty strategic when you throw it out there on the 9th round of the NFR. Why, but anyway, get your name in the papers. And if they're doing wrong, then they'll lose the lawsuit. Justice will happen.
Yeah, I hate that this is a day and age of lawsuits, but I'm not certain that will be the only one that comes out of this NFR.
Okay, that's a bold prediction. There's a lot of things, but I think, remember, you better read through the documents you signed when you agreed to be a part of an association. I'm just saying that because most of that stuff is documented. When you say, I agree to be a part of the PRCA club. Once you're a member of the club, you play by the club rules and you agreed to it. Like it or not.
I think, and it's an interesting fact, because part of me is like, this is a membership organization. So for me, it's like you sue the PRCA, you're suing the Cowboys is kind of a feeling. But then, the flip side is people saying, no, they have legal insurance that would cover it. So the Cowboys don't really be paying for it,
Yeah, and I haven't cleared this yet with my assistant. She's not going to like it, but I'm going to boldly go out there and say No Spin Rodeo is liable to be on break until 2026 unless my partner harasses me enough to get out of my Christmas robe, because that's what I'll start wearing on the 16th, my Christmas robe.
You're not going to come to Fort Worth to the National Finals breakaway roping with me?
Oh, yeah.
It's a short commute for you, Skippy.
It is a short commute for me. I'm probably going to try to do that, but I'm going to be there, be a team player in my Christmas robe. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll argue about it. I am up for taking a break. We did 10 in a row. So anyway, we'll discuss it in a very civilized way.
Before you say farewell, Tommy Joe, I think it's worth on the last day, one more congratulations to you, Danita Barnes Lifetime Achievement Award in the PRCA. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's quite an honor. It's quite an honor, and what a great group to be in. And we want to thank all of you that have watched us. I want to thank the production team here at the Cinch Stage. Greg Teagarden, who's, of course, my wingman, always here, always with me, always on my side, maybe limping, but still alive. all the rest of the team, thank you. Thank you for the amount of work you do to be credible. When I decided to do this, there was one person I called, and it was you. And we don't agree on everything. We don't have to. But at times, you're a rock star.
We respect each other and agree to disagree quite a bit. And we cannot leave this without saying hi to Charlie, Elsie, and Bo.
Hello, Asher. Hello, Jude. I'm on the way home. I just spent $750 on a little metal rodeo arena.
Way to go, Tumps.
Holy moly. By the pound, I think I paid $35 an ounce in steel. But for the way I look at it, if Asher can learn how to pin panels together early, that's to my advantage for the future.
And then there's me, IRA contributions for the babies.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, okay. Well, I've got a big life insurance. That's just low blow. That's like a verbal crop dusting right on the way out. By the way, thank you for being a part of No Spin Rodeo. God bless all of you. Be safe if you're here going home. If you're at home, be safe. Thank the good Lord above for everything you have, because nothing's guaranteed. Tommy Jalusha, Kendra Santos. This has been No Spin Rodeo Rally for 10 days. We'll see you soon.